Hello viewers, it's your girl RWBY Fangirl. And guess what? Today's the day of this channel's anniversary. Yep, happy anniversary to this channel. It's now 2 years old. Holy moly, never expected that. Time just really flies by. Because I did have grown over the past couple of years, so... Because if you do want to check out how, like, my last year's editing it was not great, but that just proves how much I have kind of grown over time. So I thought, why not to celebrate by reviewing the show that started this channel, RWBY, but more specifically the best episodes of Volume 1. And also you guys choose it, and also I was kind of thinking, since this is how this all began, every time it reaches this day, this anniversary date, it's only going to be about RWBY, okay? Because without this show, I wouldn't even have this channel. So basically, how this is going to go, that I'm going to start from episode 1 all the way to episode 16. While there will be one moment that, in my opinion, is definitely the best. And before I get to that, there's actually a special surprise that I'll show you by the end of this video. So stay tuned for that, because this is a big one. So, to start off, at the beginning, episode 1. I mean, this is completely obvious, and it's definitely the RWBY versus Roman Torchwick battle, and then later on, it'll be RWBY/Glinda versus Ronan. And this is where the peak begins. Holy moly, this fight was epic. I mean, this whole entire episode was actually great, so... Do I really need to say more? Glinda being awesome, RWBY being adorable, and also the first time we actually hear her voice, because in the trailer, she never had, her voice. The first person to actually have, their original voice actress was Blake's. So Erin was technically the first one, voice actress to actually, make their first debut, basically. Because Weiss also, didn't have, Kara, to voice it, because it was mostly Casey that sang the role. Because we all know that for the singing role, it's Casey that voices her, basically. And that's pretty much it for this episode, but man, what a heck of an episode. And now on to episode 2. This was kind of a little bit tricky, a little bit, but if I had to choose, it'll definitely be the interactions between RWBY and John. I just thought, their moment together was actually pretty sweet, and also get a little bit about what John's motive kind of really is, even though it is somewhat kind of revealed why, the main reason why, but we'll get to that later. I just thought this interaction was actually just bittersweet. And now moving on to episode 3. I mean, this is completely obvious. It's definitely when Yang and RWBY meet Blake for the first time, and this is where we get the very first Bumblebee moment, and it's pure perfection right there. And do I really need to say more? It's a perfection of a moment. Look, I'll do that once, I'll say it again. Coming up at number 4 for the best moment, this was kind of hard to pick, but if I had to choose, it'll definitely be the Pyrrha, Weiss, and John interaction, because I thought it was actually pretty funny, because since John hasn't got a single clue of who Pyrrha really is until Weiss said, "She's on the part of every Marshmallow Flakes box." Sorry, I couldn't get the whole line, but you know where that moment is. And then Pyrrha says, "Yeah, it was pretty cool. Sadly, the cereal isn't very good for you." And then they actually put that in RWBY Chibi, and when Pyrrha does this commercial, and when she takes a bite of it, it tastes awful. Yeah, they're definitely gonna not have the greatest promotional or greatest cereal ever. And also when Weiss, when she was interacting before John came into the picture, she was ready, to put, use Pyrrha to get, to be basically a pawn in her little game, basically, because, well, they're both the smartest and, the best people around. Even though Weiss, at the beginning, is not the greatest person, well, Pyrrha is a pure angel. Man, I miss Pyrrha so goddamn much. I'm sorry, I missed her so goddamn badly. And that's basically what I have to say about, this long, lengthy, episode, or or should I say moment, sorry. Because the reason why I'm gonna get you confused with episode and moment, because unlike future volumes, this one has like the shortest amount of time. Like they have like a lot of episodes, but they're all like 5 to 6 minutes or 10 minutes. So it's kind of difficult for me to find like these kind of like things or like moments. So I do apologize if I accidentally keep on saying that, and I hope you guys understand that. And now, coming up on episode 5 for best part is actually the full episode. Yeah, I couldn't really decide. Like I said, this is really difficult. And actually, episode 5 and 6 are like best moments, because it's basically like how each person like interacts, because RWBY got Weiss, Pyrrha got John, Ren and Nora, then Blake and Yang. But we'll get into like Blake and Yang later, but I just felt like all their interactions were good, and then we'll later, all like the teams coming together to do one of the best moments in this volume. But moving on. And now, coming up at episode 7 for the best part, it's easily when Blake and Yang interacts, because unlike RWBY and Weiss that don't really get along, because I mean that's completely obvious why that is. I mean, we all know that Weiss was not really a good person, weren't you? Yeah, even she's kind of a little bit confused, but you know what, whatever. But unlike them, Blake and Yang actually had like interconnection, like they wanted to be like, partners, which we all know later on, they're definitely gonna be a couple later on. So, yep, just pure Bumblebee nostalgia for us. And now, coming up at episode 8, and this is the moment. Where is the Team RWBY and Juniper versus the Deathstalker and the Nevermore? These two, like, this moment is amazing. Like, hands down. Like, easily, like, one of the best, like, moments in, like, this entire volume. Like, because that, like, Team Juniper going up against the Deathstalker, and while Team RWBY has to deal with the giant Nevermore. And the way that RWBY, like, jumps up and decapitates that Nevermore is just, oh my god, so awesome. And this is just proves that Team RWBY and Team Juniper are amazing as a team. Well, Juniper will have one member gone, but that's coming volume 3, oh my god. But anyway, but at this moment, these two teams work phenomenally. Alright, and coming up at episode 10, what is the best moment? I think it's definitely when RWBY and Weiss have that interaction by, like, the end of the episode, where Weiss basically tells, like, RWBY that she apologizes for basically her rude behavior, and she said that she's really proud to be a supporter, basically. Well, even though she still has one more thing that she has to let go, discrimination towards the Fawners, but that's going to be for later, so, yeah. But at this moment, she does promise to be the most supporting person to be by RWBY's side. Like, it's just freaking adorable, and I love it. Even though at Weiss Queendom, they handled it a little bit differently, but that's a different story, okay? And coming up at episode 11, what is the best moment? None. Yeah, I'm not joking. I literally look at this episode so many times. There's nothing, because it's basically Carton being an asshole to John, basically bullying him all the time. So where can I find like the best moment in this episode? So yeah, we're just gonna skip and move on from this. And now, coming up at episode 11, what is like the best moment is when John reveals to Pyrrha the main reason why he wanted to be a huntsman, and basically why he's not really the best huntsman, because it was revealed that John faked everything. So that means he has no combat experience, never really done like fight Grim or anything like that, and he just basically lied about everything so he wanted to be a huntsman just like his grandfather. And he revealed to Pyrrha the situation that tried to comfort him, he didn't really need at the time. And of course, Carton overhears this and begins to blackmail him. Yeah, that's great. Oh my freaking god, I hate that guy. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? And now coming up at episode 13 is actually when RWBY gives some advice to John. And, well, don't worry, because even though that John will give him a little bit more advice to help like him become a huntsman and stuff like that thanks to Pyrrha, But I thought like RWBY and like John's like interaction just was actually quite bittersweet because John is not in the greatest position. Because like I said, because Karn is basically blackmailing him to do all these things to keep like John's secret. So yeah, he's not in the best position. But what the advice that RWBY gave to John is probably not the best, because he's basically like, I think she's basically saying like, you have to be a leader, you have to put others before yourself. Which is honestly quite true, but this is basically foreshadowing what the aftermath of that would be, because since RWBY, we all know, puts others before herself, and the others look to her for advice, even though she's 2 years younger than her. And this culminates in her to have a breakdown in Volume 9. So, yeah, this advice will not be great, but at this moment, like this moment right here, she does try like her best to like cheer John up and give him like some motivation and stuff like that. Would eventually lead to him like standing up with Cartman, which is absolutely great. Coming up at episode 14 is when John apologizes to Pyrrha. I just thought this moment was bittersweet and stuff like that, and just basically saying that he wants to become a best huntsman, and he asks like Pyrrha like if she can train him and stuff. She agrees, and boom, a friendship has been established, or should I say romantic stuff. Well, even though they don't really become like an official like kind of like couple until like Volume 2, but I could be wrong, but they definitely have feelings for one another, but that won't be revealed until Volume 2. So, and now, speaking of which, coming up at episode 15, what is the best moment in there? Is the conflict between Weiss and Blake. I just thought like this moment, because since this is like how this full episode is, because it actually gives us a little insight into Weiss's backstory. Basically, she reveals like to Blake that the White Fang caused so many problems, and because of their actions, it caused her father to be very angry, and he brought that anger home, and that made for a very difficult childhood. In which, yeah, that is really sad when you think about it, because we all know that Jog is not like the greatest person and father around, so yeah, I don't really blame her. But also, like, when it comes to Blake, because, you know, she also has hatred towards the Deceased, because their problems, or, like, their actions are causing, like, the White Fang, like, to attack and stuff like that. So, it's basically, it's just, like, conflicts just are still there, and there's nothing they can do about it. And all the way to the point that Blake finally snapped, and she just ran away, and revealing to us that she is a cat faunus. Even though that's not part of the moment, but I just wanted to put that right there, because seeing Blake, what kind of faunus that she was actually really, like, kind of emotional, because since, you know, the whole reason she had that bow in the first place is to hide her true self, basically, which is really sad when you think about it. And it would lead to a point that later on, basically in the next episode, that there are people there that she does trust, and then later on Volume 4, she finally lets go of the bow and finally just be herself. So, which I'm really proud of her for. And finally, coming up at episode 16, the last episode, is when Penny engages in the fight. Like, oh my god, Penny was amazing in this fight. Oh my god, because she freaking dominated everyone. Because, I mean, Penny's just an awesome, like, character in the first place. Even though the tragedies that would unfold later on in Volume 3 and 8, but we're gonna move on from that, because in this moment here, this is their best moment ever, okay? I'm not gonna say any further. This is definitely awesome. And yeah, that's my own personal take on, like, these episodes. And because I got something special just for you guys, I have an own Discord server. Yes, you guys can actually join my server where you can hang out, chat, and basically do all these things, because I have like so many servers and stuff like that. But before you guys actually join in, please read like the rules and stuff like that on my channel when you do, because I can be a little bit strict with the rules, but I'm trying like to keep this like a PG-13 like community as possible, because I love you guys, and I don't want any like hatred or like negativity around like the community. So I just want you guys like just to respect the community. That's all that I'm actually really asking for. But there are like some other things I'm gonna do, because I have like a few categories, but they will like my Discord server would upgrade every single time. So there are like a few subjects on, but then as like the years progress, I will definitely add more. So don't worry, I will put more in the future. Just for now, I want to do it like nice and steady for now. And I have like some special stuff that there's actually one section I want to talk about, and that's of course the movie hangout section, where you guys can actually join and we can all watch like movies and stuff like that. Only one movie. I'm also kind of thinking about like a movie series for that. I'm thinking about it by this point. I am not sure, but when I do put it on there, I'll definitely remind you guys like in a future video. So, or you guys could actually just find it on the channel. I mean, on the server. So, yep, there you go. And that's pretty much it. I just want to thank you guys so much for the last 2 years of being on my channel, liking, watching them. It just really means a lot to me, because I'll say this like so many times. I made this channel not just for like fame or anything like that. I'm just doing this just for fun and just make some like friends and stuff like that. I just want to make a really nice community. So yeah, I'm really proud of the 2 years that I have gone through with this channel. So once again, thank you guys so much for everything, and hopefully as like the years progress, this channel will keep on growing and it will be a really good channel. So I would like to know from you guys, what do you guys think of like how I described it all, like the best episodes? Are those ones your favorite? I would like to know in the comments below, and I will leave a link in the description for an invite for the Discord server. And happy anniversary to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.